Individual and group organizational behavioral actions are heavily influenced by power and politics. Individuals in organizations use their power to meet their basic needs or obtain what they desire. Good day, Dr. Boyot, and my name is Chris Oliver R. Mercado, and this is MWA Report. The objectives of this report are as follows. Understand different views of power and influences. Understand types of power or sources of power. Know tactics used to gain political power, and understand various approaches to power. The ability to exert influence over others is sometimes referred to as power. Power is a relational phenomenon that can be defined in a dynamic way. The extent of influence a person or group has over a company's decisions without receiving permission from the company is defined as this. The ability to accomplish goals according to one's preferences is what is meant by having power. According to law, power is an exchange process. A person who commands services needed by others exchanges them for compliance with his or her request. According to Emerson, in social relationships, ties of mutual dependence play a role in power. The capacity of one person or department to affect the actions of others within an organization in order to produce desired results for the holders of that power is known as influence from an organizational point of view. We teachers have a great deal of influence and power, and we can influence how well our students develop. No matter what subject we teach, our students' lives are impacted by the power and influence we wield. We will be using presidency in describing the characteristics of power. Power is specific in the sense that it can only be used by certain people in certain situations. It's possible that not everyone will use their power in every situation. The United States, which was previously led by Obama, is regarded as a superpower. He has the authority to decide and influence as president. He never did this with other nations. Instead, he makes decisions that are specific to the growth of his country. Dependency is power's primary characteristic. The more reliant a person is on you, the more influence you have over him. The United States of America was dependent on Obama while he was president. A president's success is greatly influenced by the expansion of a nation's economy. Typically, citizens rely on policies to advance themselves. Power is elastic. People who are used to using their power may try to increase their power and expand it. Power may be reduced in some organizations as a result of a manager switching from one department to another or changing positions within the organization. America is a superpower, as was already stated. Due to this, their president's authority is flexible. They have the ability to affect international policies, and when those influences do not produce the desired results, they may choose to deny their involvement and take appropriate action to rectify the situation. In an organization, there are mutually beneficial power relationships. Power arises from relationships between two or more people. It is based on the idea of two-way influence, where people can both influence and be influenced. Presidents from all over the world gather in the United Nations, as is well known, to discuss and formulate global policies. A mutual benefit is always taken into account when formulating these policies. One of the United Nations' top influencer is the American president. He has the authority to affect these laws. When building relationships, they typically offer mutual benefits, like the Joint Forces Agreement. In our nation, some people support these policies and relationships while others oppose them, but that is how power dynamics operate. By adopting various power perspectives, a manager can increase the power of both managers and their employees. The autocratic view of power holds that authority typically comes from management in a downward power spiral. Because the money is fixed, there are always winners and losers in an autocratic system. The manager has authority over its subordinates, as seen in the left image. In a participatory view of power, power is variable. Power is a fluid force that moves in all directions. Power is applied through both authorized and unauthorized channels, and is then used for group activities. Employees are interconnected from top to bottom. As seen in the right image, both forms of power are crucial to an organization. Autocracy aids in upholding the organization's mission, while participation fosters growth and helps an organization achieve its objectives. John French and Bertram Raven have identified the following 5 sources of power which may occur at all levels of the organization. When the authority of the group is respected, the leader gains legitimate power. When our students and parents respect our authority in instructing our particular subjects, we have legitimate power. This suggests that because of our educational accomplishments, we have legitimate power. The ability to give rewards for deserving actions is known as reward power. The ability and wealth to reward others are requirements for this source of power. The ability to reward employees includes raising salaries, promoting employees, giving them better jobs, increasing their responsibilities, and giving them praise and recognition. Employees are greatly encouraged to perform to the highest standards by the promise of rewards. Coercive power is dependent on fear as opposed to reward power. A coercive power holder has the authority to impose punishment. Because employees are concerned about being punished by their superior if they disobey, the subordinates may comply with their superior's wishes. The manager uses coercive power to remove disruptive or unproductive elements and reestablish order in the work environment. Coercive power is defined as the capacity to delegate unpleasant tasks, deny promotions, and treat subordinates unfairly by withholding appropriate rewards. When using this type of coercion, managers threaten the workers with disciplinary actions related to their jobs, including dismissal, demotion, reprimand, transfer, and other measures to deter poor performance. Expert source of power identified by French and Raven is based on how much knowledge and expertise others attribute to the power seeker. Only in certain well-defined areas are experts perceived to have knowledge and understanding. The individual must truly understand what he is talking about and be able to demonstrate tangible evidence of this understanding. It is extremely selective and has a reputation for being honest and forthright. Referent power stems from other people's desire to identify with the agent wielding power in the past. Regardless of the outcome, they want to identify with the powerful person. Managers with referent power must be appealing to subordinates in order for them to identify with them, regardless of whether the managers later have the ability to reward or punish or whether they are legitimate. Managers who rely on referent power must be personally appealing to their subordinates. Politics is an unavoidable component of any organization. Managers must use a variety of tactics to gain political power in order to protect their self-interest and advance their careers. Social exchange, selective service, information control, identification with higher authority, and other organizational politics techniques are commonly used. Managers who lack basic political skills will struggle to protect their self-interest and rise to the top.
Leaders use various tactics to influence others and use power for personal gain in addition to organizational goals. Social exchanges is based on reciprocity norms. It implies putting others under one's obligation and expecting them to return the favor in due course. It can be accomplished by inviting people to parties, doing favors for others, providing financial assistance, assisting in times of need, and so on. Identification of authority is a frequently used political technique that involves associating oneself with a powerful and successful person in the organization. Developing close ties with a powerful boss is thus an effective method of gaining political power. A selective tactic is an ad hoc strategy in which the employee selectively extends cooperation to his supporters. Control of information is an important technique for gaining power. The availability of relevant information is critical to the operation of an organization. This information can be withheld, falsified, or distorted, among other things. Seeking cooperation from those who are currently members of the opposition group is referred to as cooperation. The employee in power and status symbols tries to impress others by attaching symbols that imply power and status. Power is the ability to persuade an individual or group to do something, or to change in some way. Powerful people have the ability to manipulate or change others. Political behavior is outside the scope of one's job. The behavior necessitates some attempt to leverage one's power bases. When we say that politics is concerned with the distribution of advantages and disadvantages within the organization, we also include efforts to influence the goals, criteria, or processes used for decision-making. Normal everyday politics is referred to as legitimate political behavior. Illegitimate political behavior, on the other hand, violates the implied rules of the game. Those who engage in such extreme activities are frequently referred to as hardball players. Illegal activities include sabotage, whistleblowing, and symbolic protests such as wearing unusual clothing or protest buttons, as well as groups or employers calling in sick at the same time. Individual factors identifies personality traits, needs, and other factors that are likely to be associated with political behavior. Employees who are high self-monitors have an internal locus of control and a need for high power, and they are more likely to engage in political behavior. The high self-monitor is more sensitive to cues, exhibit higher levels of social conformity, and is more likely to be skilled in political behavior than in social conformity. Political activity is probably more a function of organizational characteristics than of individual difference variables in organizational factors, because many organizations have a large number of employees with individual characteristics listed, but the extent of political behavior varies widely. Although we recognize the role that individual differences can play in fostering politics, evidence suggests that certain situations and cultures promote politics more strongly. Promotion decisions have consistently been found to be one of the most politically charged aspects of an organization. The lower the level of trust in the organization, the higher the level of political behavior, and the more likely that the political behavior will be illegitimate. Power refers to A's ability to influence B's behavior so that B acts in accordance with A's wishes. This definition implies a potential that does not need to be realized in order to be effective, as well as a dependency relationship. Politics is an unavoidable component of any organization. Managers must use a variety of tactics to gain political power in order to protect their self-interest and advance their careers. Social exchange, selective service, information control, identification with higher authority, and other organizational politics techniques are commonly used. Managers who lack basic political skills will struggle to protect their self-interest and rise to the top. The most important aspect of power is that it is dependent on others. The greater B's reliance on A, the more powerful A is in the relationship. Dependence is based on the alternatives perceived by B and the importance placed by B on the alternatives controlled by A. A person can only have power over you if he or she controls something you want. All forms of power are interconnected and interdependent rather than independent. Referent power grows in tandem with legitimate power, reward power, and coercive power. Expert power can lead to legitimate power. Legitimate power creeps in with a change in position due to promotion. Thank you for watching.